Imagine a world where the line between reality and the spiritual dimension is blurry, where ancestors whisper on the wind and deities dwell in mountain peaks. In the high-altitude regions of the Andes, at elevations where the air is thin and nature is wild and harsh, unique cultural traditions were born and developed, with roots stretching back into deep antiquity. These traditions, shaped by the challenging environment, the eternal cycles of nature, and complex social organization, offer us a glimpse into the place of women in society and their special role in connecting with a world we can't always grasp. What if we could peek behind the curtain of the ordinary and see how, in these distant lands, women became not just keepers of the hearth, but keys, gateways, opening paths to the transcendent?
For centuries, in conditions demanding exceptional endurance, mutual aid, and deep respect for the forces of nature, Andean cultures developed intricate belief systems and practices. These systems weren't static, they evolved, adapted, incorporating elements from different eras and interactions. And within this complex tapestry of human experience, these unique social adaptations that help us understand the evolution of human communities and the influence of the environment on cultural development, the role of women gained special significance. Her understanding, her intuition, her connection to the cycles of life and death, all of this could be seen as something that allowed access to realms unavailable to others. How were these perceptions formed, and what deep-seated reasons lay behind this worldview?
We embark on a journey through the Andean highlands, where every stone, every plant, every spirit has its own story and meaning. We will explore not only ancient rituals and beliefs, but also the anthropological logic underlying these seemingly unusual, yet profoundly meaningful practices. Prepare for your understanding of the role of women in ancient societies to shift, revealing new facets of human culture and its boundless capacity for adaptation and the search for meaning. Woman as a conduit, anthropological roots of a sacred role.
Within the context of Andean civilizations, where cosmology was closely intertwined with daily life and the spirit world was as real as the physical surroundings, the function of women as a gateway to the spirit world was not accidental. It was rooted in deep anthropological understandings of the nature of being, the cycles of birth and death, and the feminine power that, by its very essence, is the power of creation and life sustenance. Anthropological studies, such as those by Maria Rosa Calderón and John Murphy, shed light on these aspects, emphasizing that in the Andean worldview, the feminine principle was associated with fertility, the earth, water, elements that were themselves sources of life and the link between worlds.
The very concept of spirits in the Andean tradition differs from what we're accustomed to. They are not merely immaterial entities, but rather forces, energies, ancestral spirits, nature spirits, like the mountain spirits, Apu, the earth spirits, Pachamama. These spirits actively participated in people's lives, influencing harvests, health, and well-being. Therefore, communicating with them and establishing harmonious relationships was vitally important. And it was here that women occupied a special place. Their ability to carry and give birth to new life, their connection to menstrual cycles, which were seen as reflections of lunar cycles, and consequently the rhythms of nature, made them natural intermediaries.
Rites of passage concerning a person's life journey were often under the special purview of the feminine principle. Birth, coming of age, marriage, even death, all these stages were accompanied by rituals where women played a key role. They didn't just observe or participate, they were often active conduits whose actions and words held sacred significance. For instance, in some traditions, a newborn child might be presented to the Struts, and in this act, the woman, the mother, could serve as the primary intermediary, introducing new life into connection with the spirit world.
Furthermore, in Andean cultures, there was a concept of duality, of the complementary nature of the masculine and feminine principles. Neither was considered dominant, but both were necessary to maintain the balance of the universe. However, when it came to delving into the deeper, often unpredictable realms of the spiritual world, feminine intuition, her capacity for empathy and acceptance, could be seen as more suitable. This did not diminish the male role, but highlighted specific qualities inherent to women. Cultural evolution and social roles. Woman as keeper of wisdom. The social structure of Andean communities, including the Incas, Aymara, and Quechua, was complex and hierarchical. However, despite the patriarchal tendencies characteristic of many ancient cultures, women often held important positions. They not only participated in agriculture and crafts, but also wielded significant influence in family and community life. This influence, combined with their sacred role, created a unique context for the development of their spiritual abilities.
The social roles of women in Andean societies were multifaceted. They could be priestesses, healers, shamans, midwives, keepers of genealogical memory. Each of these roles involved an element of interaction with the spiritual world. Healers, for example, used herbs and rituals to invoke spirits for healing. Shamans, through various practices, could read the signs of fate, predict the future, communicating with those beyond the physical world. It's important to understand that these practices weren't just superstition. They represented a complex system of knowledge passed down through generations, built on a deep understanding of nature, astronomy, psychology, and spiritual principles as they were seen at the time. Women, often the keepers of this knowledge, played a crucial role in preserving and transmitting it. They were living libraries of wisdom, their connection to the past and the spiritual world unbroken. For instance, in ancestor-focused cults, women might act as intermediaries, reaching out to the spirits of the deceased for protection and blessings. Their emotional ties to family and their role in continuing the lineage made them particularly attuned to the needs and desires of ancestral spirits, who were believed to still watch over their descendants. This wasn't just passive waiting, it was active engagement based on mutual respect and understanding. Environmental influence on cultural development. Life on the edge of worlds. The harsh conditions of high-altitude life in the Andes inevitably shaped people's worldview. Unpredictable weather, the struggle for survival, and the sheer power and danger of natural forces all contributed to the development of deep spirituality and an awareness of their dependence on higher powers. In such an environment, where any day could be a challenge, the ability to sense, understand, and influence these forces wasn't a luxury, but a vital necessity. Women, as beings closely connected to the cycles of fertility and reproduction, found themselves at the center of these relationships with nature and spirits. Their ability to anticipate weather changes, their intuitive understanding of the best times to plant or harvest, could be seen as a gift bestowed by the spirits. This is precisely why their role in rituals related to agriculture and natural cycles was so significant. Adaptation to the environment also manifested in how women utilized their abilities. They could serve as oracles, their predictions helping the community make important decisions. Their altered states of consciousness, achieved through meditation, dance, or the use of certain plants, could grant them access to information unavailable in their normal state. This wasn't just a mystical experience, it was a practical tool that aided survival and prosperity in challenging circumstances. Comparison with other cultures, universal motifs, and unique expressions.
While this narrative focuses on the Andes, it's worth noting that the motif of women as conduits to the spiritual world isn't unique to this culture. In many cultures worldwide, from ancient Greece to the shamanic traditions of Siberia, women have played or continue to play roles as priestesses, prophetesses, and healers capable of communicating with the beyond. However, the distinctiveness of Andean traditions lies in how this role was integrated into the overall cosmology and how it was linked to specific natural phenomena and social structures. For example, Ancient Greece had its oracle priestesses, like the Pythia at Delphi, who were said to enter trances and deliver prophecies. In shamanic cultures, female shamans often possess a special power connecting them to the spirit world. But in the Andes, this connection was imbued with deep reverence for Pachamama, Mother Earth, and the Apus, the mountain spirits who shaped the landscape and determined people's lives. The female capacity for fertility echoed the fertility of the earth, creating a powerful metaphorical link. The uniqueness of the Andean approach lies in its refusal to pit masculine and feminine principles against each other, instead seeing them as complementary parts of a whole. Woman was the doorway, but this door opened through the interaction of all elements of existence. This concept of harmony, balance, and the interconnectedness of all things is one of the key characteristics of Andean philosophy. New dimensions of understanding, woman, spirits, and the evolution of human consciousness. So, why did women become the gateway to the spirit world in Andean cultures? The answer lies in a complex set of factors.
Biological and social role. As bearers of life, women were the natural embodiment of creative and nurturing power. Their role in childbirth and their connection to nature's cycles made them more receptive to subtle energies. Cultural perceptions. In the Andean worldview, the feminine principle was associated with fertility, earth, and water, making it a direct intermediary between humans and natural forces. Environmental adaptation. The harsh conditions of the highlands demanded deep spirituality and the ability to seek help from higher powers. Women, with their intuition and empathy, often found themselves at the forefront of these spiritual practices. Knowledge transmission. Women played a crucial role in preserving and passing down traditional knowledge, including that concerning the spiritual realm.
These unique social adaptations don't just reflect the past. They offer us a way to understand the evolution of human communities and the influence of the environment on cultural development. They show how people, facing challenges, found ways not only to survive, but to enrich their lives by establishing a deep connection with the world around them. Contemporary research and interpretations. Modern anthropologists continue to explore these traditions, seeking to understand their deeper meaning and impact on people's lives. It's important to approach the study of such topics with respect, avoiding sensationalism and focusing on an educational approach. Rather than shocking with details, we aim to reveal a complex world of beliefs that helped people navigate life, find meaning, and maintain harmony with nature. Exploring the role of women as a gateway to the spirit world in Andean cultures isn't just about diving into ancient customs. It's a chance to understand how humanity, over thousands of years, has shaped its relationship with the unknown, how it sought connection with higher powers, and how these quests were reflected in social structures and cultural traditions. It's a reminder that the world is far more complex and amazing than we sometimes imagine, and that within every culture, every custom, lies a deep wisdom waiting to be understood.
We see how these traditions, rooted in profound respect for nature and spiritual forces, continue to influence the lives of modern Andean communities. While external changes are undeniable, the core values of harmony, interconnectedness, and reverence for ancestors remain vibrant. And the role of women as keepers of this wisdom, as symbols of life's continuation and connection to the spiritual realm, is still significant. In conclusion, it's safe to say that women in Andean cultures truly were a gateway to the spirit world. But it wasn't a door hiding fearful mysteries. It was a door leading to understanding, to harmony, to a deep connection with the universe. It reflected how humanity, facing life's great enigmas, found ways to comprehend them by leaning on the most profound and sacred aspects of its nature. Studying these traditions is a path to understanding not just the past, but ourselves, our capacity for adaptation, our unyielding drive for meaning, and our connection to something greater than just the material world.